going, doesn't it?
Hey, everyone. Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
I was going to groove on with that. Welcome, everyone. I'm Teresa. Thank you for coming to Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway, your channel for community support, help, friendship, knowledge, limitless love, and most of all, being of value to one another. Thank you for coming and being here tonight. And welcome, Ken Isbe.
Yeah.
Ken Vaughn, his first time
Hello,
on.
everybody.
Good to have Ken on.
Yeah, we're honored to have him with us tonight and to share his story and some of his experiences. And it's exciting to see him up close and personal, huh? And thank you, Brenda, for coming. Dalibor from Germany, and of course, my co-host.
Hey,
Lori.
Dalibor. How you doing, Dalibor?
Special love and healing to Crystal.
Brenda.
Tonight, everybody.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Ken.
So,
Hi,
getting a kick
Teresa.
out
Hi,
of it.
Lori.
hey, Ken.
Hi, everybody. I see you there, Elderberry, Grandpa Brown.
There you go.
David Castle.
Hi,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout it out, Ken. You go, brother.
You name them, buddy. Keep
Well,
going.
I got it up on my screen here.
Excellent. Let's hear
Awesome.
it. Who else is with us tonight? Looks like we got
Who else you see there?
my
David
sister
Castle?
Kelly
Oh,
in the
I see
house.
it.
Kelly.
David Castle and Rufus, the Wookiee dog.
I got the number 6. The 6 thumb up again.
Joe P. Joe P is on here.
Good to have Joe P with us. Truth Seeker just came in. Hi, Truth Seeker. Good to have you.
Hi,
Doug
Truth Seeker.
Stack. Oh
Doug
my gosh,
Stack.
everybody send Doug Stack lots of protection. He's in the middle of that hurricane
Yes.
stuff. They're
will do.
prepping Doug. We're sending you lots and lots of protection. No
Lots of
ifs, ands, or
protection,
buts
Doug.
about it. You
Absolutely.
are protected by the universe.
Amen. Mandy
Moo's
Moo.
in the house. Moo.
Oh, Mandy. Okay,
Hey,
now,
girl.
Mandy,
Mandy.
if you want a link, let me know. I thought your laptop was broken, sweetheart, and you were
Well,
on the
she's
road.
probably on her phone.
She's on her
Yeah.
phone? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you need a link, let me know, Mandy.
Yeah, most definitely, Mandy.
We miss you, sweetheart.
Hi,
She's been
Elderberry.
traveling. Okay, well,
Awesome.
Crystal might not be in the chat tonight. She's not doing well at all with this heat, humidity, all the work that she's been doing, and it got to her, and it's overwhelming, and she's not well. So we'll send our love and energy to her. Okay, she's had a rough couple of days there, and wanted to be with us and wanted to be in the chat tonight, but her head was pounding. So we send you a lot of love, Crystal. Lots of love. All right.
I'm seeing a lot of lag here.
Huh?
You
Seeing a
seeing
lot of
some
lag between the phone and the computer.
Oh, okay.
Takes
That's
a little
all right.
bit of getting used to, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Julie. Good to have Julie with us. As
Let me
well. She
just-
popped in.
Let me just tell folks briefly,
Please.
sis. So tonight we're going to talk with Ken a little while about some of his personal journeys and his transformation. He has some good things to share with us. We also are going to talk a little bit about how to trust and manage and work with your intuition and your guides. And then Jules is in Australia at a rally that she helped bring together. She's been taking on an organization role in her country and in her, I guess, her town and other areas around her town to take a more active role in helping people get through these difficult times with what's going on with the government there in Australia and with this pandemic. And she is sharing some of her wisdom with these folks and helping them to get through this and organizing them to take action, to take some control back of their own environment. And she's doing it in a very positive way. And so it's interesting to see what they've got planned. They have a rally. So at the end of this show tonight, she's going to come back in and she's going to be giving a presentation to her townspeople about what it is they can do. And we're going to play that live. So if you have time, you can hang in there with us. We can hear what Jules has to say and how she's delivering this message to others. So that's what's going on tonight. And I'll leave that, Lori, I'll kick it over to you.
So tonight, everybody, we're talking about intuition and how to trust it. And everybody knows what happens when you don't trust that intuition. But Ken, how would you describe intuition for yourself? I mean, how are you able to trust that intuition? Those
Well,
feelings.
I'm still questioning kind of things, but I'm like, I get these feelings about something that's gonna be, like if I'm looking forward to going somewhere or doing something, I'll get a certain feeling, sometimes. And even with the cards, I do. And then, as far as in my mind, I'm like, this might not go too good, or it could be great. This is gonna be fun, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
I might not have it.
Yeah, learning
Yeah.
to trust it. I know, Brenda, you've got a few little things you'd like to read off that can kind of help us with this topic.
Yes, I looked up some intuition sayings, and I think they're really cute. So the
Good.
first one is intuition. When you don't know how you know, but you know, and you know you knew, and that's all you needed to know.
I've heard that before.
I think that's funny. I really like that.
Yeah, it's good.
And then another one here, I thought it says intuition. Intuition literally means learning from within. Most of us were not taught how to use this sense, but all of us know well that gut feeling. Learn to trust your inner feeling and it will become stronger. Avoid going against your better judgment or getting talked into things that just don't feel right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep.
Yep. But you know it, but
Yeah.
you doubt it, and you don't believe it, or you poo-poo it away, so to speak. And then you come later to find out that had you trust your gut, very similar to something that happened to you, right, Dalibor? Same exact situation.
Oh yeah, yeah. On many different occasions, I think when I look back at my life, it's always paid off. Almost always. The first time I distinctly remember getting a flash of intuition was actually with my brother, and I must have been like maybe 12 years old, and he had just come back home. And I don't know what it is about him, but he said, "You're not going to believe what happened to me." And instantly in my mind, I knew what he was going to say. He had gotten arrested, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Then he told me, and I was like, "You got to." And I said to him, "I knew it. I knew it. I just somehow knew it. I don't know how. I don't know why. There was like no indications of that, but that's what had happened." So, and when you look back, when I look further, I'm like, yeah, usually regarding business decisions, if you're like wavering on a business decision, like should I go through with this or should I not go through with it, it's different than buyer's remorse. If you have a bad feeling about something from the very get-go, then it's usually not a good idea, and usually the universe itself will kind of go out of its way to help you make that decision.
Yeah.
There's going to be various signs, various sticks and stones thrown in your way so you don't go through with it. Everything from like a bad feeling to like your car breaking down before you're supposed to go there. Like for example, there was this one. I mean, I've owned or co-owned various corporations over the course of many years, and this one corporation I had was with this doctor guy, and I was supposed to go finalize the deal. So I dressed up in my suit, and since it was quite a distance, I decided to check my car. So I checked the oil while the engine was running. I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. So I got back in the car and I realized that I was covered in oil, in like tiny little droplets of black oil. So I had to shut the car off, go back upstairs, change my suit, wash my face, wash my hair, wash everything. Just about made it there. And, there were a couple of other very creepy indications about this guy that I got that I'm not going to get into necessarily. And the whole corporation turned out to be a dud. It was pretty much a loss for me.
Yeah.
So I was actually right in my intuition, and I went through with it anyway. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody else around me was like, "Oh, this guy, he's a doctor. He's like got all this money. He's got all these contacts and everything. It might be a good idea." Even though I deep inside I was like, "No, I'm not too certain about this guy." So and like I said, usually this intuition of mine kicks in for business decisions.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bad feeling about some kind of, let's say it's a house you're about to buy, if let's say the house number is something like 666 and you don't like the number 666, don't go through with it.
Right. Yeah. There's those little signs.
Things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And every one of us has like these bad numbers or bad omens. Like for me, historically,
Hey,
like,
Al.
the number 21 has been like a not very good number. So
Yeah.
so I try to avoid that.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you meet somebody for the first time, or and you kind of pick up on that energy, and you get a sense already of kind of who they are, where they're coming from, just by the words they're using. But that energy, you're picking up on that invisible energy, and that's what's kind of setting the tone. Then you get those little nudges and feelings, and I really think they come from the universe. It's that inner being's connection to the etheric realms that are always assisting and guiding you. When you think you're absolutely all alone, you really truly are not. You're being guided and assisted 24/7. It's just whether or not you're open to it and whether or not you're trusting it, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Ken, who else is coming in, Ken?
Who
Who
else?
else we got?
Who else we got?
We got Nina the Mystic. Hi, Nina. Good to have you with us. Yep, Lucky Stone.
Hi,
Always
Nina.
a pleasure.
Oh,
Lucky.
okay, on the chat.
And then we have
Julie and
someone.
Margaret.
Intuition is spirit. Talking
Yeah.
to you if you listen. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Very good.
LCOA.
Welcome to David Knoll and Lucky Stone.
Welcome everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good
Yep,
to
they
have
joined
everybody
us.
with
David
us tonight.
Castle. Yep. Julie
Fantastic.
Stowe.
Mhm.
Lucky
Yep.
Stone here.
Yep.
Yeah, love
Very
Lucky.
good. So, Brenda, what about you? Have you had these moments where you just didn't know whether to trust whether it was right or not? And then,
Well,
Or just
being a
blind?
mother,
Oh yeah, I bet.
if you have children, you have a lot of those times. And Brian, if you talk to him about those times, Mom always knew. She always knew, what was best, or she tried to tell me, but
Mhm.
you know how children are. They just don't listen to you. But I had a lot of those as a mother.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I bet. Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was in that life experience though. I mean, there's a lot of intuition right there. Life experience. You go through something in the past, and you come up into a situation where you see the same kind of circumstances going on. You sit there and you think, well, you remember what happened the last time.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
It says trust your vibes. Energy doesn't lie.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Energy does not lie. That's one of the rules of the universe.
Now, if we accept the fact that, there's a very realistic possibility that we could be living in a video game simulation, what if all these coincidences that fall into your way to either confirm or revoke a decision that you're about to make of some kind, what if those are like your future self coming back in time, warning you about something, but because you can't violate the causality principle using time travel, what if your future self is doing it in the least obtrusive way that it can possibly do it? Namely, subtle hints, not something necessarily overt or something way out there, but something really on point but subtle.
Just that's subtle, but right in your face kind of a thing. Like,
yeah.
All right, how much
something
more
only
do you have to do to get your attention?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's going to be something only you would notice, but not somebody else. Like, for example, in my case, that would be a recurrence of the number 21, which for me is a bad number. So, nobody else would take notice of it. It's just like I've had unbelievable numerical coincidences in the past, like, with an SMS confirmation code for a bank transaction for a mobile phone that I bought that was the exact same phone number I used to have like 25 years ago.
Wow.
And which basically confirmed to me that yes, this was the right decision to make, but also on a deeper level told me that I was in that same evolutionary state that I had been at 25 years ago when I was living in a different country, under different circumstances. So, in other words, it's individualized towards you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So true. So true.
I think for some people, if you've been caught for a while in a loop of old programming and old thinking, and you haven't been through all of your inner works, it might be difficult at times to trust your instincts or to trust that vibe because you've made so many mistakes, or you think or you're still feeling the guilt, or you're still going through the agony of whatever it is you're going through. And so even when you first come out of it, just treading, it's like tiptoeing, across an ice that you don't fall through the cracks and drown, so you're hold back, and that holding back becomes a pattern in of itself too. Mm-hmm. So even though you awaken more spiritually and you,
yes,
that tuning in, we have a tendency, I know Ken and I have parallel experiences with family and decisions that we've had to make regarding our own life. And so trusting yourself, it's trusting your instincts is sometimes quite a hurdle for people. But I could tell you, and so can Ken, and he can share his story with you. I could tell you all that it gets easier and easier, and you get more and more confident.
The more you trust it, yeah.
The more you trust it, the more confident you get.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have good people that you're surrounded with, and good friends and sisters and people who love you, like in this community, you can talk through things and they'll remind you. They're like your little angels too.
Yep.
They're a little voice in your ear too that reminds you, hey, trust yourself.
Truth Seeker made a comment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sis.
Go ahead.
Truth Seeker says, intuition is the initial voice you hear when you are faced with a situation. The more you overthink it, the voice gets drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that's true.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. Test your instincts in order to trust your instincts. That's it. That's it in a nutshell right there. Yep.
Yeah. Follow your instincts.
Absolutely.
That's where truism manifests itself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. Take the leap. Take the leap of faith.
Doubt. Thanks, David. No, that was nice.
Except as my life experience has confirmed for me that yes, you don't necessarily have to test your instincts. You know by now that you can trust them.
Yep.
And that's the hardest part for people to do is the trust. Trust yourself, trust that the universe has you, trust that you've got yourself, that inner being, just all those different levels of yourselves coming together and just playing off of each other.
Yep.
And it also says intuition is the whisper of the soul.
Yes, I've heard that before as well. Yes.
Whisper of the soul. That I haven't heard. That's pretty good.
Yes, I've heard that one. Yep.
And again, you don't have to just rely on pure intuition itself. You can use various, gimmicks, as I call them, such as tarot cards, the pendulum, or whatever modality that you wish. And those are just like tools to amplify that natural instinct that you already have. So.
Right.
In other words, intuition is indistinguishable from instinct. And on a higher level, it's your higher self that's telling you, pick this card, don't pick this card. Because it already knows all the possibilities, all the permutations.
I had a situation one time, Delbor. I was buying a car, and for months before I bought this new car, I'd been telling myself exactly what I wanted out of the car. And so I put it out in the universe. This is what I want. This is what I want to pay for it. And I got on the lot and I started looking at all these other cars. And there was this little silver car just off to the right there going, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I'm like, no, I can't afford you. I'm not even looking at you. And So about an hour goes by, and we start talking about that car, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just take it for a test drive. So I took it for a test drive, and the minute I put my hand on the steering wheel, I knew this was the car for me. So it was like, okay, I relent. I'll do it. This is the car. Next thing I know, within 45 minutes, I was out of there. I bought the car, and
Now, see, I
loved
think
it.
more and more experiences like that builds confidence.
Yeah, it does.
So then over time,
Mhm.
you know, you might feel I'm being cocky about this, but you're not. It's just that you've gained that inner knowing and ability to trust yourself. And I think Lori's got it more than anybody I've met. No, or Michelle too. I mean, there's a bunch of folks out there that have this really strong confidence and zoom right ahead. It's been more of a push for me, but I'm getting better and better at it.
Learning to trust it. That's
Learning, one of the ways you can trust it is you can actually use your rational mind to do so, because like, let's say you're using cards, and let's say you're using, say, playing cards. There's 52 of them. In other words, there are 52 factorial permutations of the order of those cards, which means 52 times 51 times 50 times. In other words, it's a number. It's about 6 with 63 zeros after it. In other words, it's literally more than the grains of sand in the entire ocean. So once you've confirmed the fact that you're getting draws from the cards that are above and beyond like what chance would dictate, then you know that you can trust the cards. And if you can trust the cards, that means you can trust your instinct, because it's ultimately your instinct that's making you draw those particular cards in that particular order. So that's, you're using mathematics to like confirm what you've suspected all along. In a way.
Yeah. So Ken, can you think of an example in your life where recently, maybe even within the past 6 months or so, you finally got to that point where you felt secure enough in your own intuition to follow it? You have a story behind that? I think you do, don't you?
I stay behind. I try to stay away from people that's going to drag me down. That's one thing, but
That's
I've got
one thing you did. Yeah.
I've
You
got
find yourself picking and choosing people that you want to be around, those energies, and then the ones you don't want to be around, right?
Yeah. It's gotta be like that, because I as a Pisces, I got a lot of compassion and empathy for people, and I'm always wanting to help people if I can. And it's all right to help somebody with lower energy, but you don't want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So you
don't
learned
want
how
to over for dinner, do you?
learned how to pick and choose and navigate and make that's a decision yourself, right? That requires a lot of intuition.
Yeah, it does.
Without being judgmental. Yeah. What about the tarot cards, Ken? Did have the tarot cards help you at all?
Yes. They all. I'm sitting there listening to these readings on YouTube, and they pretty much all, telling me the same thing, but in different ways, but it's all coming out, saying the same things going on in my life, and I can relate with it because I feel it in my gut too.
The second brain, they call it, which I find fascinating. Yeah.
I had something interesting happen to me yesterday morning, though,
What
and
was
it
that?
really made me excited. I had a conversation with Metatron.
You got a download then.
Ah.
The
That's been going
Archangel
around.
Metatron.
Yep.
And I asked him, I said, where do our souls come from? And he said from angels.
Okay.
Angels are souls like we, and they have families. Angels have families, hierarchy and stuff. And he said that if you read, he reminded me, if you read Secret John in this Nag Mahani, he's talking about that the Christ created eons, and the eons are actually galactic center cores, the black holes. All right, and these things are a soul too, and consciousness, and that's what we're passing through right now. Is that conscious wave that's coming out of that black hole in the center of the Milky Way, and that's what's going to cause everybody to start waking up spiritually. What's causing it? And he was saying that archons, though, were the angels that the Christ created, were the high up angels, and then they started creating souls themselves, begetting souls themselves. Just like it's just like we are breeding and making babies, you know, they're doing the same thing. Yeah, up there, as above, so below.
Right.
And the angels are souls just like us. And he also told me that this thing that they got in the Bible saying that they have no free will is a lie. They do have free will. They choose to be where they're at, or they go on somewhere else.
They choose to stay and assist, or they can move on to something more, so they expand. But that's what a lot of us are doing here, is we're learning all these lessons and systems and interacting with each other so that we can move into that space ourselves eventually. And then we make the decision whether we want to expand more or stay and be a part of a group to help others in their ascension process. So it's an infinite figure eight of experiences and groups coming together.
It's ultimately
it's all source, though, right? It's all part of source.
Right.
Broken down and organized.
Everything exists. Everything exists, good and bad, good and evil, whatever you want to deem it, exists within source. Okay? Source is experiencing his creation through everything that exists within him. I don't care if it's a rock or us, or an angel, a demon, Satan himself, even if you believe in that. And so, all this religious stuff, trying to scare us and keep us in shame. It's just BS.
Well, religion does have its good aspects to it, that's for sure. And not everybody resonates with those messages, but there's a lot of good things in that. And there's a lot of things you can follow and use in your day-to-day life. But you can also be open to other energies and spirits, guides, angels, all of that. You still have so much to draw from.
I felt that in my heart when he told me all this. I felt it right here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Then it resonated with you big time.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful
That's
download,
one
Ken.
question I've always been asking, I mean, and our goal as far as our life is to get to the point where our vibration is high enough where we can go back and become an angel ourselves and help other people, or choose to do whatever we want. Because we got our free will. That's the way it is, Teresa.
Yeah, in other words, we are the ones we've been waiting for, and since like attracts like, that's why we have the soul tribe. That's why we have the friends we have, because we ultimately we attract people to ourselves that are like ourselves. And just like a rock is a conscious being, you're going to find it in the company of other rocks. You're going to find an animal in the company of other animals, plants in the company of other plants. So that's why you have that. Although it is true at the same time that opposites attract. Yes.
I do agree that everything has consciousness within it.
Yeah, I do.
Because the Christ exists within everything. The light and the word, it exists within everything. So everything has a consciousness in it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mhm.
Very true. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a vision years ago about, even dust particles, all right,
Mm-hmm.
in space have a little bit of consciousness in it. And as these dust particles clump together, there's more and more consciousness comes, it builds, that consciousness grows and grows. And then when finally, it's, through a million years or something, it might keep clumping together and end up making a planet like the Earth.
I believe the planets have consciousness as well. I actually know for a fact they have consciousness.
I think
which is
everything
interesting.
has consciousness.
Absolutely.
All
And the whole
matter.
universe is teeming with life. There's so much
Yeah,
life. It's infinite.
I think the double slit experiment pretty much proves that even subatomic particles have consciousness.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the double
They're
slit
waves until
experiment.
we look at them.
Yeah, it depends on whether you're looking at them or not. So, yeah.
Yeah, everything exists only because we're looking at it. We observe it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's nothing but energy.
I still
Yeah.
say it's all an inner reflection of if it's all part of the energy within our own energy being. It's
Yeah.
all
You're
reflected
tapped in,
out.
tuned
Yeah.
in, turned on to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's all, and it's kind of interesting to think about, because I think humans try to put things in human terms when they try to explain things, but these messages that come from within, we're trying to interpret them, and then we put them in human form. But the thing is that there really is some type of organization. It's not just a blob of energy floating out there. It's managed. It has intelligence to the extent that it's managed to organize things in such a way that we have all these processes in place. And what we've done as humans is contorted those things, and we've manifested, or I should say, we've created things from that to help explain. But the bottom line is that there is a whole army within us. Think about this. There's a whole army within us.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All these angels Wayne's been talking about. They're
Mhm.
they're within for us to tap into. And
Yes.
they're in structures
Hey,
like
David,
the council at 12 and all that. They're all they're all tools, not tools, but helpers to our own growth.
And
So
I
we don't have to be
believe
afraid or alone anymore. We know
Yeah.
we have all this.
that Council of 12, that Council of Light, are
Yeah.
all beings who have been here, done this, ascended, moved on, learned everything they needed to know, and now they're assisting us and helping us. And what better way to do that than to have experienced all of this themselves, which I feel is just the next level. It really is. It's like graduating. Once you graduate here, then you're moving on to those
I like that
levels.
term you used, leveling up.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time we learn
Mhm.
something new or different or let go of something, like I let go of some stuff, you level up. And you keep growing, hopefully up, not the other way, But letting go is a part of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of that
Exactly. Yeah.
growth.
Yep.
And I would tack on to what Lucky Stone just said,
Mhm.
that there's more consciousnesses than people are, and just
Yes.
like I would equate, I have my own consciousness, but I have a different consciousness in English than I do in Czech, than I do in German and other
Yeah.
languages. So, in other words, if something, for example, there's like a product name that means something horrific in Czech, that means that's talking to me. That's talking to me and addressing my Czech consciousness, which is
Wow.
for all intents and purposes a different one from
Mhm.
my English consciousness, and telling me like, don't go for that, don't buy that. If there's like a for example, I don't know, I don't use toothpaste or shampoo or any of those products, but if there's like some food product named something noxious, I'm not going to buy it. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Noxious.
Like I wouldn't
Sounds
buy.
like an energy drink.
Yeah,
I need my noxious.
yeah.
I'm missing my noxious.
But you can even apply that in English. Like, for example, Red Bull,
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I tried that stuff once and it almost killed me. So
Speaking
Yeah,
of BS,
I call it crack in a
speaking
can,
of BS,
sir.
what is our BS meter? Isn't that our intuition?
Yeah,
it's the same
it
thing,
is.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I can tell
Yeah.
when somebody's BSing me.
Oh, heck
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you can even see it. Sometimes you could see it as like a yellow streak in their aura.
Yes, that is
I've
true.
never seen that, but I can tell
Yeah.
sometimes when
Mhm.
somebody's BSing me.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Doesn't feel right, does it?
something's off.
Yeah.
No, it feels off. Yeah,
Yeah. But what
feels
is
off.
this? Lucky is talking about the consciousness. Now, there is something to be said for the
Oh, yeah.
subconscious in a dream state.
hmm
A lot of what I'm
That's
learning
true.
and picking up is through my dreams or whatever vision I'm gifted with at the time.
Mhm.
If I get a vision during a meditation or not. Sometimes it just pops into my head when I'm not meditating. But usually it's in the form of a dream. So is there a way of working with us through the subconscious at the dream state?
Oh, definitely.
More so than at the conscious level?
Because when you're in the dream state, you're actually in the lower fourth astral dimension, which means that you're actually in a higher state of being. I once had the perfect dream that explained this to me and the meaning of it, where it took place on like the top floor of a really tall skyscraper. There was like a party, and all these people I knew were there, and I was like, okay, I gotta check out because it's time for me to wake up. And I went into the elevator. The elevator like took me down to the first floor, and by the time I got out the building, I was awake. And that's the perfect symbolism. In other words, you're going down in consciousness when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many aspects of yourself that all come together to
Yeah.
make you who and what you are. Just and Lucky Stone's right. You're always consulting those different aspects of yourself in
Always.
so many different levels. Yeah, it's
Hey,
mind
Dalbar.
bending.
Mm-hmm.
Dalbar.
Mm-hmm.
You made me wonder when you said something about the Matrix. If our higher selves are actually our real selves, that's up in the that's sitting there in the VR.
Yeah, but see, it's kind of like the Matrix, but at the same time, it's not. It's like because you're connected with your higher self is connected with your lower self is connected with your physical body. It's all in one. The Matrix is kind of a simplistic explanation for that. It's just like the distinction between the globe Earth reality and the flat Earth reality, where both are true at some point. And which can only be explained by the fact that we're actually living in something like a video game, something similar to the Matrix. Although I don't think we can explain it at this point. I think we could only explain this if the four of us or the five of us got together on a higher dimensional level and had the same conversation. You know what I mean? Then we'd be able to
Wow.
understand.
Mhm.
That'd be interesting.
That is
Let me just take a short break for just a second to
Sure,
welcome
sure.
some folks that have come in. We have Slightly Slanted Sleuth. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. And we have a couple other people that dropped in.
Susan.
Yeah,
Robert,
David Noel is here.
Suzanne, David Null. Thank you. Oh, David, so good to see you. And we have let's see, we have Robert Fee who's in the house. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Robert.
And Alciriello was in and out. I hope he's still here with us. He's driving on the road. Travel safety to you, Big Al.
Pamela
So-
Jean's in the house as
Pamela
well.
Jean,
Hello,
okay, cool.
Pamela Jean. Good to have you with us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to see all of y'all here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
D.
Yeah.
Guthrie? D. Guthrie?
Mhm.
Yeah, yep, Guthrie, yep. Rise up to a higher level and have a conversation. Absolutely.
Delighted to. Right on.
And I have.
A7
Yeah.
in
But
the
I only
etheric realms.
I only
wasn't
remember like snippets of it. I only remember snippets of it. But it's not like I haven't had contact with other people in the Soul Tribe.
Who said they've been having a lot of dreams here? Was that Suzanne?
Yeah.
Suzanne, it's coming down like pouring rain, these dreams these days, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Has anybody else noticed an increase of these dreams and downloads?
She's recalling many of her dreams. I can typically recall my dreams most most mornings, no problem.
Yeah.
And then I'm right into it, checking it out, trying to figure out what the message is.
It's just that I keep going back, and Steve would know this. Steve,
Yeah.
and probably David Null,
Mhm.
and probably Miss Brenda, because we and I have a similar background as far as church goes. But there's something in the old scripture about there will be many visions, there will be many dreams, signs and great wonders and miracles, all coming together at one time to express the beginning of something else. Now, most people call that the end times. I got to get away from that, because it's like that just doesn't set the right frequency with me.
Yeah, wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just transformation,
Yeah, transformation and something, a rebirth, a newness.
A new world. Being rebirth. Because as we pass through the galactic consciousness, there's going to be changes come. And all this negativeness that's happening, in the world today, it's going to be shut down when we drop down in the lower half of that consciousness wave. Because that's the positive side. From the negative side right now.
Right. But I mean, so much is like this is happening, and I just don't remember in my time here in the now. I'm 61, and I don't recall a time like this that was as significant. And even in the 60s, I was born in 1960, but even when I was 9 years old, all that was still going on. 10 years old, there just wasn't the same intensity that we're seeing now of what's going on, and people are waking up. I mean, I got a neighbor. I got neighbors waking up. Yeah.
I'd say that the reason for it is because the scams are getting so transparent and so obvious that you'd have to really be stupid to not see it.
Yeah, that's probably it. But it goes back to their instincts and intuition. Honestly,
just so I can finish, at the same time, I would say I don't think I've ever met a truly stupid person. I haven't. I really haven't, because no, well, maybe one, maybe one.
I don't know.
I kicked out of that one.
You see some of them on the highways. You see some of them on the roads of Germany.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's true, right?
Honk, stupid! Get out of the way!
Yeah.
No. There's people who are careless, I think, more than stupid, or just not in the now. They're just not fully conscious or something. But no, seriously, I've got neighbors waking up now who, a couple months ago, or even 6 months ago, were still swallowing the pill for everything. Yeah, poo-poo on religion, poo-poo on spirituality. I don't believe in anything. Now they're talking about higher powers, and they're talking about dreams, and trusting their instincts when they're listening, or using discernment better. Isn't using discernment part of intuition?
Oh, definitely.
Or is that a separate gift? I mean, they're interrelated, right?
Discernment, yeah. That's knowing or not knowing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So
that's
they're
clarity.
They're getting more. There you go.
That's a better word. Yep.
Yeah.
Has any of y'all been working with the angels yet?
No.
A little bit. Just recently for me. I had my guides, and people on here know. I talk about the Christos spirit. I call it Great Spirit, and Great Mother, and Maiden sometimes. And recently, I've been talking to another angel, Eric, a little bit. I've learned to talk to him, and I'm calling. I actually called on him the other day with Lori too, to get her help with it. So I know the angels I now have confirmation. I didn't have it before, and so many things have happened with Eric now that I know that angel is real. Just as I know, as I was saying in Wayne's room the other day, they're all part of our higher self. They're all internal and part of us, yet they are ascended mass. They've reached a certain level of knowledge and wisdom, and they're talking to us to help us through this. They've chosen to do that. That's their role. They don't deny us. If we call out to them, they help us. You know? So I've had some real life experience now, Ken, and I didn't have that before. So I've actually had that now. So it's like, it blows your freaking mind, people. For those of you who haven't, it blows your freaking mind. But
yeah, Lucky Stone can relate.
But it's not all that weird if you're a
Well, I
big.
was going to say, I seen his comment there that he had been studying with them. How's that working out for you, Lucky?
I think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Why not?
That's wonderful.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
They're there to help you and assist you. If you can get connected and you trust that intuitively, you'd be amazed how much help they are to you. And that's all they want to do is help you and love you and support you.
And a way of explaining this to your loved ones who are still very much in the organized religion or a church, like a Catholic or a Baptist or all these, they're like afraid of this. They think, you're being taken over by demons because you're listening to voices. No, look at your own scripture that you follow in both the Old Testaments and the New Testaments. And these angelic visitors interacted with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses. There's nothing new here. We're just relearning it. Or awakening to it in this age. But it's nothing new. I think David Null would agree. It's nothing new here.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, if it was okay for them to do it in biblical times, why isn't it okay for us to do it today?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Lori, what you told me the other night about testing the spirits or the voices,
Yeah.
And I've caught a couple of them.
Oh, good for you.
I hear something. I have a thought, it seems like somebody else sending it in my mind,
Yep.
And
there's the trick.
I who is this? And they'll sit there and they'll try to identify as an angel. I said, "Are you a being of love and light?" And I hear this, "No." I said, "Well, be gone."
Yep. So important. Just that one simple
excellent
question. Yeah. Can protect you against something negative, because in that realm, if you ask them if they're of love and light, they have to tell you. It's a universal law. It's the way it's structured. They have laws, things they have to follow. That's one of them. So when you do that, then you can be assured that you're not getting that trickster, that negative energy that just wants to feed off of your fears and doubts and
or just mess you up.
Yeah, that's what they want to do is mess you up. And trust and believe, I have gone that route. I've learned the hard way how to not go there.
Every now I little commercial break here. Every now and then, you catch something, chat.
Okay.
Al says, "I'm in the shower listening." David Null says, "Oh God, Al, what a picture." TMI.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm actually taking a dump right now. No, kidding.
That was. I'm sorry, but that was priceless.
Oh, I love that.
That was priceless. I had to throw that in there. Get our frequency up a little bit here.
Well, how many times we get a phone call where we're sitting on the throne,
I don't know, but did Al ever tell you about the time I kept running the water when he had to find a rest stop when he was driving the truck?
Gosh, that was just so fun.
He had been on the road for so long. He was looking for a place to go to the bathroom.
That's not always
Here, let
true,
me
look.
help you out. I turn on the water faucet.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. The things
Okay,
we
enough,
do.
Teresa. Enough.
Enough. All right. So I got a hold of 7 things
Okay.
that can help you to better trust your intuition. It says how you can start trusting your intuition. And I thought it was interesting. Number 1, calm down, relax, get
There you
still. In order to listen to your intuition, you need to be able to hear its voice. This is difficult when life is frantic with a million things going on, vying for your attention and stress. High emotions and chaotic thoughts are reigning within us. Therefore, anything you can do to calm the hell down and relax and get still inside and out will help you notice what your gut feelings are telling you. That's one. Another one here, just pick some activities that feel right for you and do them regularly and see if that helps calm you down. Number 2, become more mindful. Become more mindful. You can train yourself to pay more attention to what's going on around and within you. Meditation, for example, can help you quiet your mind and become still in the midst of a frantic world. Mindfulness techniques, we've talked about this before, our artwork, mindful activities, music, art, creative writing.
Yeah,
Even
being
though that's
creative.
more easily said than done.
Yeah.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Well, you do alchemy work.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, but I also, for the simpler things, to focus the mind, there's simpler things that I personally do. Like, for example, chopping wood. Why? Because it involves the use of dangerous machinery, like a chainsaw, where you make one mistake and it's
You lose a
very
hand
ugly.
or
Yeah.
a finger.
So that forces you to really, really stay in the moment. Plus, what you do is you're using ear protection and eye protection, so you're kind of cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You're just focusing on that one task of like chopping wood. That's it.
It says here that all of that, Dalibor, will enable you to better hear the voice or your gut feeling and distinguish it from impulses. Now, in spiritual community, we don't talk about the gut feeling. We talk about the tapping into spirit or source. There's some truth to this because, Brenda, I sent you a message today. You probably haven't gotten it yet, but I had to trust that I would be doing the right thing by giving you that. And I got it from when I was in the garden working. That's where I go to get my messages sometimes. You know that, right? So I work in the garden. I hear the voice. I stop long enough to listen. Is that really this? And then I had to think about it a little bit. Do I really want to share this, or was it meant for me to share? And I went out on a limb and said, yeah, I'm being called upon to share this. For whatever it means to somebody, I'm sharing it. That's trusting my intuition that there was something that needed to be shared. What the person does with it is up to the person, right?
True.
So that's what they're saying. When you do these mindfulness activities, it helps you focus. There's Jules.
Just Jules. Just
guys.
Hi.
I almost didn't recognize her.
There's Ralph there. This is the guy who puts on this music event, and we've got Ozpig as well. Now, I just want to show you the stage, guys.
All right.
Here,
Cool.
look at this.
Ooh.
That is awesome.
Have a play.
Ian built that stage. Your husband built that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, he did in 3 days, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
That's
Look at that.
awesome.
Manifestation at its
So
best.
I just want to tell you a quick little story how that stage come about, everybody, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So years ago, Gympie had a flood. And what happened was they got a woman up from Brisbane to do about resilience after a disaster. And Julianne was at that meeting with a few other people, not a lot of people. And I think they're artists. They think that you have to paint to be an artist. And I kept thinking of my husband, how creative he is. And men, they are so creative, but they don't acknowledge their skills and their arts and their gifts. Anyway, what happened was eventually Julianne dressed up as many characters because I was involved with the art gallery, and then we ended up having an art to a wall being painted by the artists, and then there was other things happening, right? So what happened was, because of all the skill that everyone's got in the town, we all got together and come out with our artwork to this campsite, and now we have a stage, and it's called the Stage of Pain, because all artists go through a certain amount of pain to get onto the stage. So there you go, guys. Follow your intuition, and of course it's going to be Payne. It's not going to be pain, Pain. But Ralph's going to put, as they walk up to the stairs, that he's going to say, "You are now entering the stage of pain."
Wait, well, Jules,
So that's the story. So follow your intuition and get out and, hey? What'd you say, Teresa?
what's your rally about? What is this function you're at? What's it about?
Well, this is just a gathering of, because we have an annual music event in our town, which is called the Country Music Muster. And because of a certain thing that's the COV identification, a lot of things have stopped. But because Gympie is such a resilient place, like the initial thing I said, we've got a bubble around us. We can get away with a lot of things, you see, because of the energy of our place. So anyway, we've put on a little one out at this camping spot. But the moral of the story is, get together with your gifts and talents and create your own little gatherings, and that's what it's all about. The future is about sharing your gifts and talents. The quantum system is actually the sharing wave. That's what it's about. And I'm involved in the new Queensland Assembly, the Azure Assembly, and you guys can get involved in your own state Azure Assembly. It's a whole thing that's happening. It's the restoration plan for the world. So if you get involved, because we are the most active one in Australia, is Queensland, and I'm aiming for our town Gympie to be the ones that show you how to do it. Okay?
And this is worldwide,
That's
right,
my
Jules?
goal. It is worldwide. It is worldwide. Use all. Yep. Go look up De Jure Assembly. Okay.
De Jure.
Everybody
Assembly.
get involved. De Jure. Yep. DEJURE Assembly. Everywhere. And the sooner you get involved, you are the solution. You are the solution. Get out and share your gifts and talents, everybody, because that's why you're here. Go with your intuition. If you're guided to do something, go and do it. I'm guided to get dressed up as a
Best
fool,
of luck.
because you can share the message.
Yeah.
Best of
Anyway.
luck. We need, yes, we got to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jules.
Agreed. Thank
I'll
you,
get it
Jules.
out there. I'll put it on Discord, and I'll get it out there into Facebook and as
Go
many
look it
places
up.
as I
Go
can.
up. Go look at the restoration plan. Go up. Look the global what is
Global
it called? Life
restoration
force.
plan.
Because we are the life force. We are it. That's who you've been waiting for, is you. So that's why I say, get out and be your gift and your talent, and get up on stage, or some stage anyway.
Excellent,
So
Jules.
you know, I have to acknowledge my husband. He won't get on front of the camera though, but he's really the spark that created to let everybody know that everybody has a gift and talent, even though they don't think they're artists. You know, and I always share, I know I'm a bullshit artist. I don't paint.
What's so interesting that she's come up with this. Yeah.
You got to joke about it.
Mhm.
You've got to joke about it, because.
Yep.
What's that?
I was saying it's just
I love
interesting.
Ken?
Oh, Ken.
You love it.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. And
I wish I could.
And I
I
think
could go to someplace like that, dress up.
It's losing sound. Okay.
thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Okay. So I'll just love and leave yous, and I'll just go and do my craft. Which craft do you choose? Which craft indeed?
Yep.
Witchcraft
Enjoy yourself.
indeed.
I gotta
Yeah.
tell you, I love
Mhm.
witches these days. I love witches.
Thank you. I love what I do too, and that's what everybody's got to do. Is you got to come from the heart and be
Yep.
who you've come here to be, and love is the spark inside your heart. So love what you do.
Yep.
Love what you do. Give up your job and become the craft that you are.
Awesome.
Okay.
Love you,
Agreed.
Jules.
Yep. Thank you, Jules.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Thank you for allowing me. Thank you. I
Oh, no.
appreciate you all, every single one. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your message.
That's cool.
You know, it's interesting. It's really cool. Not only did Jules bring this to our attention about this worldwide global restoration plan using a love approach, using that loving energy through your gifts and talents to help get messages out to the community to fight what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of sword, people. It's a different kind of weapon, but it's nevertheless, it's coming from a heart space of love and letting you do it in such a way that you can really, and you got to trust your instincts on that one. But there's somebody else who I'm trying to get on, and she's put together a nationwide program here in the States for higher education, away from the public school education system to an education system that's going to teach our kids what we really need to know about this world change that's occurring. And it puts them in a classroom environment where they're going back to, they're learning some of the ancient wisdoms. They're being taught animal husbandry, farming, growing fruits and vegetables, canning, jarring foods, whole food preparation and storage, you name it. How to build barns and structures and homes, simple homes, earth ships. It's going to teach these kids skills that are sorely lacking in today's school system.
Indeed.
This is in addition to your basic,
Oh, yeah.
it's not the programming that all of our kids have been programmed, with, reading, writing, math, physics. It gets into numerology, it gets into astrology, it gets into all of the tools that we've kind of lost track of or don't know how to show our own kids. And so it's in addition to all that, the other normal stuff, but nevertheless, there's a homeschool component to it. And there's also a community program component to it. And it's nationwide. And she's pulled together all these teachers from all over the country to start implementing this educational system. So I know some Soul Tribe members are going to be interested in it because they're going to want to send their own kids there, or at least participate.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get her on, and I hope to get her on within the next month or so. And that'll be really good.
I'm wondering,
Good.
I'm wondering, you got these kids in these public schools. A lot of times, they just downright just stop respecting their parents.
Yeah.
They're teaching them to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, when you put there was a person. I went on one of these ghost tours of Shepherdstown, Maryland, or was it Virginia? Shepherdstown, West Virginia, somewhere. And I went on this tour. It was for fun. And we came across this one small miniature home that's built, and it was built by a school teacher who, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, was trying to do the same thing. She was trying to teach the kids skills that they needed. And she was trying to teach them how to iron, cook, mend clothing, tend to sheep, animals on the farm. And so she built this miniature playhouse. It's really not that small. It's kind of fantastic. It's got 2 levels to it. And sometimes you can see the ghosts of little children in there. And I did take a photo, so that was pretty cool. But in any case, she came up with this concept all the way back then. And it was like she saw that and followed her intuition that these kids weren't getting enough training. And so what happened is that got left behind. And so what we ended up with was a public education system that doesn't teach them any basic survival skills or anything.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I taught middle school for 1 year, and I taught college for 1 year, and I'll tell you the basic problem with the modern education system is the cookie cutter approach, where every student is expected to excel in the same subjects as every other student. That is the basic error of it. You cannot expect, would you expect somebody like a Beethoven to excel at something like math or at something like, I don't know, phys ed? Of course not. Would you expect an Einstein to excel at something like history or whatever? No, he doesn't need to, because he's Einstein. He does his own thing.
Right.
So, in other words, the real problem is the fact that the cookie cutter approach forces kids into classes that they're not interested in. And that's why they don't participate. That's why they don't care. And that's why they disrespect the teachers and the whole thing. If they were genuinely interested in the subject matter, they wouldn't be acting this way. And that's the problem, that the subject matter is not interesting to the students. It's not relevant. And they will never, I mean, for example, I've been to a lot of job interviews, and I've never had a question. Okay, Mr. Suki, we really like your qualifications, but do you think you could recite something from Beowulf? It's never happened. So, a lot of this education is not relevant, and it's not something that's geared towards the individual student. I'd say get rid of all the educational requirements. Excuse me?
It's all about boxing them up.
Yeah.
Well, what this teacher learned, by the way, was when she teamed up the children together, said, here's your task, make a beef stew. Here's the ingredients. And she gave them the pots and the pans and these little miniature stoves. And they're only like 6 or 7 years old. She's like, here, go ahead, make this beef stew. Follow these instructions. She found out that the more she teamed them up together as a group to learn how to feed and milk the cows, how to make and prepare the foods, how to harvest the vegetables and the fruits, how to plant the plants, their knowledge level leapt in leaps and bounds because they were interacting with one another, not a computer terminal, but with each other. It was that social interaction and support that they gave to one another was a major part of this system, and it made it very special. We've lost that. I got kids who come into my house for dinner, and they're in their teens, and they're sitting there on the cell phone the whole time we're having a family meal. The whole time. Where has social interaction got? So this is what I'm saying. If people are starting, what's happening is they're waking up, they're paying attention, they're starting to listen to their own instincts, and their instincts are telling them, our kids need something else. Our future needs something else. And that's the messages and the downloads. I don't know about Lori, but there's what I get. Our downloads that we got to change. Things have to change, and we have to bring this to people. We have to find different creative ways of bringing this knowledge to people.
Right.
It's like Suzanne said in the chat, back in the days when I had that, home economics, woodworking for boys, learn how to sew, cook, and all those things. And they just took all that away.
Yeah.
And they really
They
need
sure
it.
did. Yep.
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 I didn't realize that they had taken all that away. Have they really?
I
Yeah.
don't think they have home economics or woodworking. And I think
Sewing,
they are
home
bringing back
economics.
mechanics.
Yeah,
for boys
mechanics.
here. Yeah, they're doing that here at our local
That's
high school.
sad. Although
There's a
I
lot
will
of
admit,
gals that are good mechanics
Yeah.
too.
I will admit I got into so much trouble in home economics.
I loved it.
It's the only class I ever failed.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Well,
I flipped pancakes and I'd deliberately stick them to the ceiling.
Uh-oh.
Well,
And
actually,
when they
the
told me to
only
eat my soup by pushing my spoon away from me to be more ladylike, I wanted to slurp it instead, so I pick up the bowl and pick up the bowl. And I sewed my thumb to the bodice of a dress. I was making a prom dress or something like that. And I was so bored. I thought it was so silly and so stupid, making a dress. I didn't even wear dresses.
I don't wear dresses now, but I love to cook. But the sewing, I never could sew either.
Me
I tried
either.
so hard.
You know those sewing machines, those Singer sewing machines? So I'm using it, and they thought I did it deliberately, and I got in trouble, and I got sent to the principal. It's just that my thumb got in the way, and I sewed my thumb to the bodice of the
my
dress.
goodness.
But they thought I was being a goof, and I wasn't. I flunked F.
Oh my goodness.
And as many of you may know, the only class I ever flunked was phys ed, was physical education. And I was
Wow.
the only person to flunk phys ed in
How
my
do
high
you
school.
flunk phys ed?
I know, it was the only class I ever flunked. I just couldn't.
You
I
have to
couldn't
dress
do it.
out. You gotta
yeah.
shower. And you
Yeah,
gotta
I
show
didn't
up.
like it either.
I couldn't do it. It was-
You
I
right,
I
Ken?
didn't like that either.
Yeah.
no.
I
Oh, I
loved
love
it.
phys ed.
Me too. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, phys ed was my number one. Yeah, that
Yeah.
art class,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
phys ed. Yeah.
I think my favorite was English,
Mm-mm.
and that's also what I wound up teaching. So
Yeah, that was your forte.
yeah.
Well, sis, we've come to the end
Yeah.
of the hour, and want to thank everybody for being on the panel, for showing up and being here with us. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Ken. Such a pleasure to meet you.
I hope I can come back again someday.
Hope so.
Yes,
Absolutely.
open invitation for you.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Sure, Delvor.
I heard that there are things that you could do to increase your intuition that are chemical in nature, and one of them would be a tea made from the bark of the ash tree. If you're familiar with that,
Oh yeah.
ash tea is supposed to increase your intuition. And you just there's a lot of beverages that are made from tree bark, like for example root beer that's made from birch bark.
Mhm.
So this would be something similar to that. It even looks a bit similar. The ash tree. Look it up on the web, and
Awesome.
you just take from young leaves. Young branches or small saplings. You just scrape the bark off, and put a reasonable amount in a cup. Pour hot water on it, and then drink that.
Wow.
There might be something
Check
to
it
it.
out.
There
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be
yeah.
something to
That
it.
was
Yeah.
actually one of the 7 things in here was making
Mm.
tinctures and teas.
Yes,
There's certain types of
specifically.
teas. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was in
Yeah.
here, and so you hit on one of them, but we touched on
Beautiful.
enough. I
I
think.
think they're one of them on that list, aren't they, Lori?
What's that?
Mushrooms?
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of the mind expansion, though.
Yeah.
But
That
it-
will expand your now. Yes, it will.
But Ken, it recommends doing exactly what you've been doing. How many card decks do you have now, Ken?
11.
11. 11. So it's saying draw wisdom cards, practice your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Lori this the other night, you all. I didn't really pull cards for people until I started joining her on her show, Pure Love's card read show. And actually doing that, I was able to trust those downloads that I get and actually verbalize
It
them.
helps. It helps a
Form
lot
it.
to really open that up. Yeah.
Because you read what the card author of the card deck says, and then you get the communications. They come in while you're doing the read on someone, and
Mm-hmm.
you repeat that, you share it. So you have to trust it to share that it'll resonate with them or not,
Yep.
But that alone, reading cards will help you increase your intuition, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it's good to start doing it for yourself. Start with yourself, and then
Yeah,
work your
that's
way
what
up.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I do that all the
Did-
time.
I
Awesome.
always
Oh
ask
yeah, I bet you do,
Spirit the same
Delabor.
question.
Yeah.
Always ask Spirit the same question. Tell me what I need to know.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I did another card reading for myself last night. Came out pretty nice. Pretty good.
Good.
I was
Awesome.
very happy.
Good.
Awesome.
Good,
Well, I'll let you do a read on me this weekend. How's
good. There
that?
you go.
I could use a
Yeah.
good card read. Yeah, definitely.
All right, everybody. It's time to
We
say
can do
goodnight.
we can do a Facebook thing if you want, Teresa.
Yeah, okay. I'll hit you up on Messenger.
All right, you
All
two.
right. Thanks,
Thanks
everyone.
again.
I
everybody.
sure enjoyed being here. I'm honored. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Good, Ken. Good.
I love you all. I love everyone in the tribe. I mean, it's like, oh man, I'm just filled with it.
Good. Glad
Well, we'll
to
have you back
on.
on.
So much love.
Y'all my kind of people.
Yes, you're our kind of people too.
We'll have you back on, buddy. And I'm sure Robert's been in here. He's seen you on here, and you never know.
Yep.
That's what the gateway is all about. You come on here,
That's
you made
right.
your debut. Hi. See how
I think one
handsome
of my
he is?
greatest dreams is to be able to travel around and meet you,
There you go. There you go.
meet you all. You know,
Excellent.
Sure.
I don't know
All right.
anybody. I don't know anybody like any of you. You know, except for a couple of you that I've met. You know, but
Mhm.
as far as around me, I don't know anybody.
Mhm. It's
Well,
nice
there
to
you
be
go.
around like-minded people, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of love and support in all of us. So, and we're really happy that you're part of it. So, thanks
Yeah.
for being here, Ken. Definitely.
Definitely.
All right, everybody.
All right.
We've got to say goodnight. Love you all. Peace.
Bye.
Thanks,
Take
Brenda.
it
Thanks,
Love you all.
Oliver.
Be
Bye,
loved.
friend.
Love you all. Good night.